Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome once again to the United Regional Chambers update. It's a beautiful day out there today. Hope you had a chance to get out and enjoy some sunshine. Today, my guest is the Economic Development Director for the City of Attleboro. Catherine Feerick started probably about a year and a half ago, and she has moved the needle forward more than anybody in my recollection, and I've been in town for 30 plus years, and she's really spearheaded an awful lot of the projects that we're about to talk about. And she's also a new mom. So welcome, Catherine Feerick, Economic Development Director of the City of Attleboro.
Thank you very much. Glad to be on.
So first off, how's the little guy?
He's great. He's at the age where he's starting to teeth. So everything is now a chew toy. My hair especially. He loves chewing on my hair. So I think I'm going to get a haircut pretty soon. Unrelated, of course.
Yeah. Well, good. Glad everybody's doing good. Well, you've got many projects that you've been working on. You've brought some tremendous amount of grant money into the City of Attleboro. Let's start with the Downtown Business Revitalization Program. Can you give us an update?
Sure. This is a partnership effort. You're one of the partners, of course. And what I tried to do when I moved to Attleboro, I saw that there were all these resources available to small businesses, to entrepreneurs. And there wasn't really a coordinated effort at the municipal level to get all these partners together working with local businesses. So I kind of combined that idea of a wraparound support service network. And I combined it with a business plan competition, which is a fairly common economic development tool used for vacancy reductions in other areas. I've seen it very successful in rural Tennessee, urban Ohio, everywhere in between. So I thought it would be a really good fit to make, instead of just a prize where, oh, great business plan, here's some money. We're going to give them that. But we decided that in addition to some grant money that we got from the state, we were going to help the business owners through training, through business plan review services, through mentorships, through a year's membership with the chamber, which provides all kinds of resources and networking opportunities. Really what we want to see is a critical mass of new businesses in the downtown, and we want them to be supported. We want them to have access to everything they need to survive. We don't want it to be today, gone tomorrow. We want good, strong, successful businesses.
Okay, and as part of this business plan competition, you've gathered a few of the other folks in the area. Can you tell us who else is on this with us?
Yeah, absolutely. Harbor One U is providing the training services for the program. They have a fully developed suite of training services as is. So we're kind of working within that system and tweaking it so we don't reinvent the wheel. The Massachusetts Small Business Development Centers, they will be performing some business plan review services, as will SCORE, which is a network of existing entrepreneurs that like to help others that are just getting started. And then the United Regional Chamber of Commerce, of course, is providing the 5 winners with a membership there. And also SCORE is providing a one-on-one membership again. So they're kind of doing something on the front end and the back end.
Well, good. And that's what we need for the businesses to succeed in downtown Attleboro. We've got some huge opportunities, and there's many more opportunities coming with some of the projects that you've spearheaded and are bringing to downtown. Can you touch on some of the stuff going on Union Street right now?
Sure. A lot of people are aware of the big spearheaded project that started before I got here, and that's the Union Street District, they're calling it. From Mill Street all the way up to Park Street was acquired under one developer, and piece by piece, starting with the center building, the brick building known as the Foster Building, that's going to be converted. It's going to be all residential, really high quality architecture. It's going to be mixed income, meaning there are going to be market rate units. There are also going to be some workforce housing units, which are about median income. And there will be some deeply affordable units as well, so that they can take advantage of a bunch of different tax credit and structures there. They're also pursuing historic preservation tax credits. And as they start already looking towards the building on the corner of Mill and Union, they're looking into other options as well. They might pursue entirely market rate, and we have a new tool in place hopefully this summer for that, called the Housing Development Incentive Program, that can provide an abatement on the new value of taxes. So if your building's $100,000 now, it's going to be $1 million after. That $900,000 increment there that you're paying taxes on, we can waive part of that over a period of years. So it's all up to negotiation, and it's not usually 100%, but that's a tool that could be used on that project and will likely be used on others in our downtown.
That's such a huge incentive for a developer to come in to be able to save that kind of money. And it's great that you've been able to find these programs and put it together. Now, moving a little bit into downtown, what are some of the plans, beyond that project on Union Street?
Sure. Again, on Union Street, there's another project that will bring 45 units of market rate housing, and that's also on the corner of Union and Dunham. And that's going to have some micro units in it, which is a new thing for Attleboro, but we are starting to see an increase in students living here that might be taking the train to Brown or wherever they may be. So these are units with shared common spaces, and they're smaller and more affordable for individuals that are young professionals and students, that type. We also have Renaissance South. The ground is already broken on that, and a lot of people are seeing construction there. That's going to be a mixed-use structure with 136, I believe, residential units, all market rate, and about, I think it was 5,000-ish, but don't take my word on it, retail space on the bottom. So that will be a good spot for the types of businesses that cater to commuters by train.
All right, and that's the same developer that built the one that's standing there now.
It is indeed, yes. It's a partnership, but he's the primary developer.
He's done a tremendous job with that other building, and if I'm not mistaken, that's 90% rented out?
Yes, it's been consistently over 90% rented out on the residential side. They've had a little more trouble leasing out the commercial space, but there are a couple of reasons for that. Just where it is now is going to be a much denser area in the future, but as of now, it's kind of on the outside of the downtown. So hopefully we'll see that one filled up in short order as well as its sister building is constructed.
Okay, switching subjects a little bit, can you tell us a little bit about the COVID-19 response programs, the policies and the grant programs that you have available?
Sure. The city's tried to react as quickly as possible to the COVID crisis. There have been a couple of programs that we've been able to take advantage of. First and foremost, we got an increase in community development block grant funds, and we currently are still taking applications for grants of up to $10,000 for small businesses. Eligibility criteria still mirror the CDBG goals. That's a federal program, so I would highly encourage you to look at our website under community development. You can also contact me. I can refer you to the community development director, and we can sort out whether or not you'd be eligible for those grant funds. Another program that we dollars in business grant funds just to stabilize the businesses in our downtown during this time. That program has ended. We ended up giving out 14 grants, allocating the entirety of the $30,000 and helping a lot of the small businesses basically just cover the rent and utilities while they've been shut down.
Do you see any other programs like that coming if this lasts much longer?
I've continued to reach out and take advantage of whatever sources I can to act as an intermediary for certain funding sources. As yet, I have not been successful in drawing down any more funds, but as this situation continues to unfold and as we start to see consumer behaviors as restrictions are loosened, we're going to try to adapt and be as flexible as possible. If there's a need for further programs like this, it's something that we're definitely going to consider.
As we've all heard these words, this is unprecedented times. None of us in our lifetimes have seen and hopefully will never again see situations like this. But the City of Attleboro has been very, very responsive to the local small business owners, and I know they will continue to do so. How about giving us an update on the downtown infrastructure improvements?
Sure. Well, we'll be repaving Riverbank Road soon, and that will expand some capacity and also add some parking to a growing area of the downtown. We're also looking into parking and mobility improvements. We have a study that's active right now. We just closed down the survey period, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would shamelessly plug taking our survey. But we have Nelson Nygaard on hand, and they've been helping us look at our parking and our transportation infrastructure in the downtown to see what's safe, what's not safe, what's working, what's not working, what's an impediment to people shopping and eating and just driving through and walking through our downtown. So hopefully we'll have the results of that survey and some new plans and strategies coming up by the end of the summer. We also have some work going on in the TOD through re-granted funds from the FTA, which is kind of convoluted and I won't get into it. We'll just say grant funds from the FTA. We'll be adding some pedestrian safety features around the train station. We're also going to be building out a bridge to cross the 10-mile river at 4th Street. That will connect by pedestrian routes the eastern half of downtown to the train station, which will hopefully cut a lot of people's need to take a car to the train station. That's all being done through GATRA, and it's FTA funds behind it. So, you know, again, everything's partnerships, and we have incredible partnerships here in Attleboro. So that's more or less what's going on with infrastructure in the downtown. There may be another couple of projects that I'm forgetting off the top of my head.
Well, I know that there's been a tremendous amount of work done, and there's still some empty storefronts that we're all working on trying to get filled into downtown. And if there's anybody out there that is, you know, possibly interested in starting a business or wanting to move into the downtown, please reach out to Catherine, reach out to myself. We'll do anything that we can to help you bring your business into downtown Attleboro. How about some new programs in development?
Yeah, I already discussed the Housing Development Incentive Program, and that's for market rate multifamily housing. We've been seeing a lot of interest in that for individuals who are looking to convert some of our legacy mill buildings into residential projects, for example. It's not just for redevelopment, though. It can also be used for new builds as well. So any kind of market rate multifamily housing projects, definitely contact us because we might be able to offer the HDIP. Another program that we've tweaked recently is the tax increment financing program. This is a traditionally used for industrial projects, but Attleboro has very little industrial land left. So we revised the guidelines to be more favorable to infill development, adaptive reuse projects, areas that we're seeing more of in Attleboro, and areas where we see a need to invest in some of our building stock. Those are some of the programs, and we're always adding more on. District improvement financing. I forgot about that one. We're in a study right now, and district improvement financing is similar to the other two programs, where it works with that increment in taxes from what you're paying now to what you're paying in the future. But instead of forgiving them, it funnels them into a separate bucket that you can use to fund infrastructure and development projects. So what we envision using the DIF program for is the development of our transit-oriented development district around the train station. It's a way of paying for infrastructure with the development itself. So what can happen is we can potentially construct a parking garage by the train station and issue bonds that will be repaid through the revenues that are gathered in taxes from the developments around the garage itself. So it's a good way to marry the source and use of funds. And without a parking structure, potentially none of the development projects would take place. And without the development projects, potentially the parking structure wouldn't take place. So it's a good way to make both things happen at once, which is usually beneficial for everyone. We're going to design it so that it is.
It's like a big puzzle, and you're putting all the different pieces of the puzzle together to make it all work as one.
My colleague up in Brockton refers to it as a 7-layer dip.
Is that George?
Rob May.
Oh, okay, all right. Because George was on the phone with us earlier today with a call we had. Tell us a little bit, if you could explain just a small bit, because somebody asked me this question the other day, and I don't think I did a real good job explaining it. What is a TIF?
A TIF is it's a partial abatement of new taxes on a developed property. So again, if you freeze the amount that you're paying in taxes now, and then you do a lot of work to your building and it's suddenly worth 10 times as much, you're going to be paying more taxes, obviously. So a TIF is a way to not make it hurt so badly. Maybe you pay 0% of the new taxes in the first year after construction, and then 5 years from now you pay 20% of the new taxes, and then the next year you pay 40%, whatever it may be. It steps you up gradually so that you're not hit with a massive tax burden in the early years after development, where cash flow is key.
Yeah, because as we know, new businesses and especially developers, it's the first 2 years that are the biggest struggle for all of them. And, with you and the city providing these programs, like you just said, they're not going to get hit with a big bill that could really crush, their plans for what they're doing. So do we have anything else in the works that we're moving on? I know the coronavirus has kind of shut down City Hall and shut down most of the businesses. Is there any talk within the city of outdoor dining?
I've actually reached out to several department heads about this, and nobody has issued any complaints or any serious concerns about it. The big hurdles are going to be who needs what. When it comes to obstructing sidewalks, obviously the fire department, the police department have to weigh in on what is allowable and what is not. Again, the health department needs to define how far apart tables can be. There are a lot of partners that need to weigh in, and hopefully within the next couple of weeks, we can all get together and outline some guidelines for businesses. This is when you can use the sidewalks, and if you make a request to the city to use a parking lot or something like that, these are the standards that you have to use. So it's in development, and it's definitely something that we're trying to accommodate. It's just a matter of making sure that everybody that needs to have a voice has a voice.
No, you've been very, very good, really listening to the small businesses. I know you've done a bunch of these roundtables to help, and we're certainly here to help as much as we can. It's been a great partnership, dealing with you and the city, and hopefully we can continue that to move forward. Have you got any final thoughts for us?
My final thoughts are this. There's a great study back in the day of a daycare recession. Basically, people didn't have enough coupons for babysitting services down in DC, and they started hoarding the coupons and trying to babysit to get more coupons, and that's what led to a recession. It's the easiest way to describe what a recession is. It's when people decide that they're going to sit on money instead of spending it, and that's what trickles through the whole economy. And you hear this a lot of the times, but I think that the babysitting example really drills it into your brain. What we're facing is a recession, and I just hope that people, everybody in Attleboro and beyond, recognizes that if they spend $10 at their favorite restaurant or buying something online from one of their favorite retailers, that's a lifeline to those businesses. And that's not only a lifeline to those businesses, but their employees and the businesses that those employees support and the workers of those businesses. It's all connected. So hopefully those who have the means, enjoy the things that you used to enjoy, and especially as the economy opens up, do so, but do so safely as well.
Awesome. Well, Catherine, thank you very much for joining us today on the Chamber Update Show. Folks, you've seen how to get a hold of Catherine underneath her photo and mine as well. If either one of us can help in any way, please reach out. Don't be shy. Both of us are very responsive, and we want to see Attleboro grow. We want to see Attleboro prosper, and we're here to help if we can. So thank you all very much for tuning in this afternoon. Everybody stay safe and stay social.